My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Avatar The Last Airbender, the complete series, and this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I've heard amazing things about this show my entire life. Everybody loves it. Almost everybody calls it one of the best animated shows ever. So I went into it with high expectations, and if you watched my reviews, you'd know that it took me a little bit to get into. Season 1 just began, and it took me a while to get used to the characters and to the story, and it all felt really childish to me. But as the season progressed, I started to enjoy it more and more. I didn't love season 1, but seasons 2 and 3 I just really fell in love with, to the point where I want to go back and rewatch season 1 because I feel like I'd love it much more now, knowing where the story and where the characters go. Like, once I'm done watching Legend of Korra, I'm going to do the seasons ranked between the two shows, and I might rewatch season 1 before I do that. Because I think I liked it fine enough while watching it. Now I think I would love it as well. But yeah, anyways, let's get into the show. First of all, I love the episodic structure. Like, each episode's like 20 minutes long. It's perfectly paced. It flies by, and it's still got lots of world building, lots of character work, and just a lot going on. So I loved that. I think the episodic approach fits this kind of show because you've got this main story of Aang getting ready to face the Fire Lord, but you've also got some adventures and some life lessons to learn, and there's, like I said, character building, world building, and just over time, through the episodic approach, you do really come to care for this bunch of characters. So when the main storyline is coming to a close, you're really emotionally invested, and there's just so much that it does. It's really impressive. The characters I loved, actually. Aang. Zach Tyler Eisen did a really good job voicing him. It did take me a while to like him because he is, a kid. He's really immature, he's kind of dumb, but that's the point. He is a kid who is given all this responsibility and has all this power, and he has to discover himself and learn about the human condition while also mastering his power. So that's what makes him compelling. Katara, voiced incredibly well by Mae Whitman, is one of my favorite characters. She's just a natural leader. There's some really motherly instincts to her. She's mature, but she's also a complete badass when needed. She still struggles, so she's not a Mary Sue, but she's still a very strong character, and I thought she was great. The relationship between Aang and Katara is also a highlight. I like how they both help each other out, and they are each other's support system. I like it when we see them team up during the action sequences, and they do care for each other, and there's some really sweet moments here and there. I do think them getting together at the end was really rushed, but up until that point, really well done. Sokka, voiced perfectly by Jack D. Cena, is great. He's just filled with so much life and personality. He's really funny, and I like how they gave him more character later on when he struggles being the only non-bender of the group, and how he's trying to make up for it. Then you've got Toph, voiced by Michaela Jill Murphy, who does a great job. And the show just reaches another level when she comes into the picture. Her dynamic with everyone was just a refreshing change of pace. She's a well-balanced character who's powerful, but she's also blind. So that makes her interesting, and I love how she had to learn to work within a group. Zuko, voiced by Dante Basco, who did a great job, is my favorite character. I'll tell you right now, when I do my Legend of Korra and Avatar best character list, he's number one, 100%. For the first season, I felt like he was really generic, just after the Avatar, that's all he cares about, regain his honor, but seasons 2 and 3 really highlighted the complexities inside of him, that internal struggle, and I just thought his redemption arc was really well thought out and just a highlight of the show. There's some real emotion here and incredible work, to be honest. Iroha, who's voiced by both Mako and Greg Baldwin, who both did a really good job, he's also a fantastic character. He's wise, he's mature, he's intelligent, he's understanding, and he truly cares for his nephew and wants to guide him the best way he can. Azula, voiced by Greg D. Lively, who does a good job, is really unpredictable and a legitimate threat. When she enters the scene, you know you can't mess around, and she provides some nice tension. May, voiced by Cricket Lee, she started off as a nothing character, but by the end, I was really impressed by her arc. The relationship she has with Zuko is really well written, and yeah, I was impressed by her. Ty Lee, voiced by Olivia Hack, I also liked her arc, and I liked how she could remove abilities for a bit. That made her a real threat. I really liked Saki. I thought Long Fang was a great villain for the time he was in it, and I liked Appa. They made me care about a giant sky bison. And the world building on display here is just top notch. It's so culturally rich, and each city and each new area they visit has its own culture, and the backstory with everything with the Avatar and the bending abilities and the Fire Nation. I loved all of that. It's a really rich world. I also love how this show has plenty of great life lessons about the human condition, and almost every episode has a little bit of something, whether it's working under stress or anxiety coming from preparing for a big fight or doing the right thing, or how both sides have good and bad people on them, or tribalism, or love, or finding your own path in life, or finding peace, or enjoying life despite the immediate urgencies. There's just so much depth given to every story and every character, and the animation is very good. The action is great. My two favorite action scenes are Zuko and Azula at the end, and the water-bending master against Katara. Two highlights right there. And it's legitimately really funny. The show made me laugh quite a few times. So I loved so much of the story, the characters, the world building, just so much of what's on display, but I do have a couple negatives. My first one is one that I'm not even counting because it took me a while to get into. I feel like when I rewatch this show, which I would do lots of times, that won't be an issue. I feel like I'll love it more from the get-go. Now that I know what to expect and who these characters are. Under negatives, this might be a hard take. And I like the character Long Fang, but I do think Clancy Brown and Mark Hamill, not giving bad performances, but I do think they were miscast. The voices didn't fit their characters. And speaking of Mark Hamill, I think Ozao, the Fire Lord, is a completely underdeveloped villain. Like, the final fight had no weight to it for me because there's just nothing there's no emotional stakes. Like, I know he's going to destroy everything, but he never felt fleshed out. It never felt like he was this constant threat. It just feels like every now and again, oh, it's Mark Hamill's voice, and I don't know. I wish I liked this villain more. I also didn't like how Katara's father kept disappearing, and then they reunite, and then it's just like, I have to go, and then they reunite again, and then he's like, I have to go. It just happened a few times too many. I thought the finale was pretty unsatisfying. I didn't really like Aang not killing Ozao because it only gets like that whole element only gets introduced a few episodes prior. It's not present throughout the entire show. I'm sure that he's killed people throughout the show, and it just felt like the Black Sun episode, he's preparing to fight him, but he doesn't get anxious about needing to kill him. So I just don't think this more issue should have been included, and him using energy bending didn't quite work for me. But yeah, that's all my negatives. I love this show, and the more I think about it, the more I love it. I'm watching The Legend of Korra right now, but man, I kind of want to go back to this show and just spend more time with these characters and just this world. And I just am very impressed by what this show accomplished. It's just one of those shows that lived up to the hype. So I'm going to go ahead and give Avatar The Last Airbender an 8 out of 10. My rating for it could go up on my next rewatch, but just to be safe, 8 out of 10 for now. But what are your thoughts on Avatar The Last Airbender? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin